Good afternoon. Is there anybody else on?
Yeah, I'm here.
And is the MVP meeting already concluded or just still starting up?
Hey, sorry, I couldn't hear you. I just had to turn my music down. Could you repeat yourself?
I'm sorry, could you say again?
Oh, I just didn't hear what you said. Do you think you could say again?
I was asking if the MVP meeting is already concluded or just kind of still gathering.
Oh, I think it's still gathering. They haven't started yet. I'm on here a bit early.
Okay.
Cool.
Just looking to join to see if I can learn any good tidbits from today.
Yeah, that's it. Me too, man. I have a specific question I'm trying to get help with, but yeah, these guys are pretty good.
Okay.
Cool, man.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to MVP Office Hours. My name is Jared Kingston. I'm a MVP and Solution Architect with Aperio. I've got on the call with me my other fearless leaders, Jackie Travieso and Dale. You guys want to say hi?
Hello, everyone.
Good afternoon or good morning.
Yeah, depending on where you're at. Awesome. Well, if this is your first time to MVP Office Hours, we're excited to have you. We like to kick off with just really an overview of the events that are coming up within the ecosystem. So you can see here on your screen, there are a whole slew of events coming up. March is a busy month with several Dreamin' events. If you could somehow manage to make it from Uruguay to Salt Lake City, you may be able to make 2 within that first week of March. Otherwise, you've got a bunch more coming up, some really great ones, and a lot of them. So plenty to choose from. And if you haven't been to a Dreamin' event, I strongly encourage you to try to make one of these. If it's in your area or close by, certainly try to hit that. And you can, one thing to note too here, that you can follow us on Twitter at MVP Office Hours. That's where we post all of the sessions, session signups, the recordings get posted out there. And you can also get a lot of info at mvpofficehours.info is our main landing page. And Dale, if you want to go to the next slide. And then Jackie, let me know when you want to jump in here on this. So if this is your first time, we hold this call first and third Friday of every month. And so our next call is going to be the 2nd of March. And our registration, as you can see there, you can bookmark that sucker. It is a static link. It's not going to change. You'll always be able to go there, register for the next session once we open that up. This is an open Q&A discussion. So all that we ask is that you mute yourself if you're not speaking. That way we can hear things clearly, and that will help out. And also just announce yourself when you're speaking. And we'll post, like I said, we'll post the recordings out to Twitter as well as the community group on the Trailblazer community. And we have MVPs on the call, but if you have an experience that helps with a question, by all means, jump in. Anything helps, right? So, and we will have a whole slew of resources that will come up during this call, post them in the chat, and then Dale's going to record those for us as we go. So, all right. So Jackie, I'll hand it over to you.
Great. Thank you very much, Jared. So I am so excited to announce that we have finally been able to launch MVP Office Hours Students. This is an incredible resource. So what Salesforce has done is they've kicked off a pilot program where they've got basically user groups within a select number. I think it's between 6 and maybe even up to 12 by now. Universities, colleges, schools in the higher education area, where they have on campus basically a user group for students. So we have raised our hand and said, hey, why don't we start a MVP Office Hours for students and allow these students to call in just like this call. So they've got a private call where students can call in and ask questions about how do I position my resume? How do I get through this particular Trailhead module? I'm kind of stuck. What do I need to do? How do I, move within the ecosystem and things like that. So we've got Deepa Patel, Corey, and Joanna who have raised their hand. They participate in the nonprofit area a lot, and also the higher education as well. So these are some great resources who have said, I would love to help. We are so happy to have them as a part of our global MVP Office Hours team, and just want everyone to know that if they want to learn more about this program, they can go to the mvpofficehours.info page, go to the student tab, and you can learn more about the pilot program that Salesforce is putting on. And there's also links to the Salesforce or the MVP Office Hours student chatter group, where students can join and learn about the upcoming calls and all of that. And their first call is Friday, March 2nd. So that's what we've got going on there. So we're happy to have them as part of the team. Jared, back to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jackie. Yeah, exciting to see this group kick off. So, all right. With that being said, let's go ahead and kick off the call. So, yes, and definitely make sure to check out MVP Hours Portuguese as well. All right, so let's go ahead and kick off the call. And who wants to ask the first question? And don't be shy.
Hi, this is Pat McClellan.
Hey, Pat, how's it going?
Good to hear your voice again. We met in Tahoe.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So I have a question. I'm building an app and using the streaming API. This is a Lightning native app, and I was having a lot of issues with streaming API staying stable, staying connected. It would establish a connection most of the time, and then after one transaction, instead of doing the re-handshake like it's supposed to do, it would just drop. I beat my head against my desk for about a week before I happened to hook up with somebody that was having the same issue, and she is actually part of the partner group at Salesforce. She's a developer for their partner team, and she was having the same issue, and through her internal resources discovered that there is an internal conflict in Lightning that mobile notifications uses streaming API and kicks off any other application that tries to use it. So the workaround was simply to turn off the mobile notifications in setup, and now it works perfectly. It's completely stable. My question is, does anybody know the implications of turning off those mobile notifications, and if something like that will ever be fixed?
That's a good question. Anybody have any ideas?
I think I would go back to your Salesforce person and partner with them to say, hey, let's dive into this deeper and find out, because they should be the ones pushing out the workarounds, the consequences.
She's not on that engineering team. It was just she used her internal resources. What she said was that in the summer release, they're supposed to do an overhaul. This is all safe harbor. She warned, but in summer they're supposed to do an overhaul of streaming API, and hopefully that would get fixed then. But I don't know. I was just wondering if anybody else had dealt with streaming API and Lightning, and if you had other workarounds other than turning off those notifications.
I don't. Jared or Dale, do we have any other people that we can refer him to? I'm drawing a complete blank.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Andy Fawcett would probably be a good person. I'm just seeing he's got some stuff out there around Lightning and the streaming API.
How does he spell his last name?
Here, I'll put it in the
perfect.
chat here.
Thank you.
While he's doing that, two other recommendations, if it were me trying to find an answer here. I would post something on Twitter using AskForce to see what you get.
Did that, no response.
Okay. And then Answers. That'd be the other place I would post that type of a question, because you're going to hit a global, worldwide audience.
I'm sorry, Answers, is that on Twitter?
It's not on Twitter. It's within the Trailblazer community. If you take a look at your screen, Dale's pointing you to that right now.
Yeah, okay. I'll check that out. Although I have to say that when I posted on the Trailblazer community as opposed to the dev forum, any technical questions, I almost always get a response that says, you really should post that in the dev forum. That's a little too technical for here.
And that was going to be my third recommendation. So yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, there's nothing in the dev forum. Stack Exchange came up, which I have found to be even more dependable than the developer forum. They've got nothing either. So
Well, you're hitting all the right resources for asking those type of questions.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and I just put Andy's Twitter handle in the
Oh, great.
in the chat there, and he actually, he used to be an MVP, but now he works for Salesforce. But it looks like he's been doing some stuff around streaming API and Lightning. So
Great. Thanks. I'll check him out.
He would be someone to reach out to and see.
He's also the godfather, the grandfather of declarative lookup rollup summary, if anybody's ever used that package.
That's right. Nice. Good call out.
I will say for the app that I've been working on, I've gotten a lot of experience with push topics and platform events and subscribing, having flows subscribe to platform events and streaming API. So a lot of fun stuff.
Cool.
Very cool.
Who else has a
Alright,
topic
and
they
no-
want to talk about?
Yeah, Nick Grant, you had a question that you emailed over to me, I think, shortly before this. Do you want to go ahead with that? Let's go pull it up.
Nick, I think you're on mute. You can unmute
Yeah,
yourself.
he said one second.
Oh, perfect. Yep, I see it.
Let me- So I'll go ahead and read it, and then we can see. So he says that his org has a visual flow that builds a job product record when a job record is created, and so it kicks off via the process builder. And the result of the flow is job product records are created, and then a field on the opportunity and the job record are updated with the name and product code of the products that will be used within that specific job. And he needs to add quantity to the opportunity and job equipment field that is being updated on the opportunity job records field. And
Yeah, I know that email is probably kind of confusing. It's hard to explain this stuff, right, in written verbal form. I have it open on my screen. Is there any way that I could share my screen? Is that possible? Or
let's see.
I just stopped sharing mine. I don't know if you have the ability to then steal it.
I do have a share screen here. If I just clicked it, would that be okay?
Yeah, try it. Go for it.
Why not?
All
Why
right,
not?
cool. Sweet. Okay, can you see it there?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Right on. Yeah, so basically what was built was, like you said, when a job record is created, we're taking the opportunity products and creating job products in the job record, right, related to the job record as child records. And when we do that, we've created this loop here that takes the opportunity products, right? We take the name, we take the product code. What's the other thing? I think the description, maybe, perhaps. I forget exactly off the top of my head. This was built a while ago. And then we populate that in the job product. And we also do another thing as well. We update a field on the opportunity. It's just a long description field. And we slap the text data into the long description field, creating sort of a list of those same product records, the same job product records in this field, right? So does that make sense? Is anybody following along? Make sure I'm explaining this correctly.
Yep. I think so,
Okay.
yep.
Okay, cool. So again, two places are being updated. The opportunity record, the opportunity record here, and I believe the job record with that list. So 3 places need to have the quantity information. 1, the job record itself. to the opportunity field that's being populated with the note, with the name of the product and the product code, the quantity along with those two things, and then the job record itself, who also has that same information populated in that text field, that long text field. So as I understand it, I'm not super familiar with Flow and how everything works. I'm definitely not a developer. But as I understand it, when we're looping here, we are taking the information from the product, from the opportunity product, gathering it here, and then assigning it into a note here, which is then updating here and creating the job products here. So at some point in here, I believe we need to add the quantity field, and this is where I'm hoping to get some help.
Well, so I guess the first thing that I want to understand is, are you intending to only update job once and update opportunity once, or is that supposed to happen every time you go through the loop?
Let's see if I understand the question correctly. So the loop grabs each product, right? That happens on record creation of the job. So, so once we've grabbed the information, we create the job product, and then it only happens when it's created, and then every time perhaps a job product is edited, if I'm correct there, I think.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, because what it's doing, right, is it's creating all the products first, and then it's going to update the job, right? So,
okay.
But so you have 3 assignments there. One is to map the opportunity product. So, I mean, it looks like, what are you, in your assignments there, are you just assigning one field or multiple fields?
And by assignment you mean,
yeah, okay.
We're populating, no.
Yeah, because these are all for the job product record, right? So you've got those being assigned, in this quantity field lives on the job product record or the opportunity?
Well, it's definitely on the opportunity products, and we need to take that quantity, whatever was on the opportunity products, and add it to the job products.
Oh, add it to the job product. Okay, so yeah, so what you would do is, if you exit out of that window, you would go to your, let's see, you should have, okay, your fast lookup. That's what you want. So under your fast lookup, you should, for the opportunity products, you just want to make sure that you have your recording in your SObject variable at the bottom. If you scroll down, and so these fields, right? So first thing you want to do is add a row there, and then select quantity as a field. So you're going to grab your quantity. Yep. So now that you've grabbed that, now you're going to go back over to your assignment there. Yep. And open that up and just add an assignment. And so now you'll basically look for the job product record quantity field.
Would I, do I need to create a variable, or?
Well, so I'm assuming you already have a field on the job product record to store quantity. Do you have it? Because it should just.
I believe so.
So that's your opportunity product.
Yeah. So there should be obviously a quantity on the job record, on the job product record.
Yeah, on the job product record, you would need a quantity field.
So, but I don't need
So
to
you may have-
put it into first.
No, it'll automatically appear there because that assignment you're trying to do, as long as you have, let me actually just check something here. Because I have a flow that's very similar to this. It just copies it to Opportunity Products. So actually exit out of that. Let me go, can I take a look at your loop real quick?
Sure.
So that loop at the top.
I'm almost positive that's there. I can take a look real quick.
Yeah, let me look at that loop real quick because I just want to check. Is it, the one thing, because one thing you want to have for this is you want to have an S-object variable for your new line items, which you should already have, which I think you have within that job.
So
That job product record.
I'm just looking at the job product, and there is not a quantity field on there.
Okay.
So that's probably part of the problem here.
Yeah. So if you open up that assignment one again, that's all you have to do is add that field. Then you're going to go back here, add an assignment, put in the job product record dot quantity, and then you would say equals, and then you would, for your value, you would then populate the quantity from your fast lookup that you did for that find. Basically, I think you have it labeled the opportunity product record S-object variable. That's all you're going to do is just pull it from that S-object variable, and you'll assign it there, and that will basically fill in that field. And if you just added the quantity field, you'll have to basically exit out and come back into Flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't update real time.
Right here is where I would find the quantity in the job product. How come I'm not getting like a drop down here that's like, here's product record and then here's Opti product record? Wouldn't there be something here that says
yeah, if that
product?
field was there, like, did you just add that field?
Yeah, I just added it.
Yeah, so
But
you
I
have to
added-
exit out of, you got to exit out of Flow first. You got to go completely out of the Flow and then come back in because it doesn't update in real time. Does that make sense? So you got to.
I'm just trying to understand because what I have here, right? Like there's the job record ID here, and I'm getting job product record job here. I'm just wondering how come I'm not getting that down here. I guess it's going to be under.
Yeah, that job record ID. My guess is. Another variable that you're filling out, because you're doing with that is right. You're taking the variable from, in this case, an S-object variable. You're taking a field from an S-object variable and you are assigning it a value. So yeah, once you have, like in this case, it just takes every field from that object and allows you to assign it. So now that you've added that quantity, right, like it would be in there, exit out and come back in. You'll see quantity there.
As an S-object variable here. Oh, right here.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be
There.
under the job product record S-object variable.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
great.
then you would just assign it to. Yeah, you would assign the value, and that would that would make it fill in correctly.
Okay, so up here when I'm looking it up, right? It's quantity. So I'm looking up the opportunity product quantity, and then how do I don't I need to assign that to a variable first?
No, because with a fast lookup, what a fast lookup does is it's looking up, a fast lookup is designed to look up a group of records and stored in an S-object variable, which is what you're doing there with your variable opti products.
Gotcha.
Up here.
Okay.
So all you're doing here is telling the flow what fields to save within that S-object variable. And so it doesn't have to store a single variable for every field. It's just one S-object variable. And then you can reference it within your assignment. So now because if you were to do just a regular lookup, a record lookup, that's where you have to actually create a variable for every field that you want to save.
I got it. So each one of these job product records are in that one variable, the opti product variable. Is that right? Am I understanding that correctly?
No, your opti products are in that opti product variable. So that opportunity, you've got it's probably under collection variable, it looks like. Yeah, you can always go to the Explorer. Over on the left-hand side, if you go to the Explorer tab, you can see what you have, right? So if you go down to your S-object you're storing it in an S-object collection variable, which is the collection of records. So you see that there. So all of those fields that you're pulling back from your fast lookup are stored there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And then the loop, right? The loop is designed to go to each one and pull them out, pull out the information and assign them.
Okay, got it. So this here is going to update the actual job product itself, right? Assigning it to the job product record, right? Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so, yeah, and then to update the actual fields on the opportunity and the job records, I'd be doing that in these. Basically the same thing here.
Yeah, that's your updating of that specific job record. Yeah, that one's updating the job record itself. And that's the collection of those fields. That's the collection of the fields here, or let's see. So you are adding all that information there. Yeah, and it's taking that and adding that together into your note collect variable.
So I would add the quantity field here, basically, that same quantity field.
If you want it to be a part of it. Yep.
Got it. Okay, and that note collect is what's updating both of this field here the opportunity field and the job field. In that note collect here is where we're updating the equipment field in these two objects here.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
All right. I don't want to bogart everybody's time, but I really appreciate that. I think you explained it to me, and that makes a ton of sense.
And Nick, make sure that you do these changes in your sandbox and test them out, because it looks like you're displaying your production org right now. So just make sure that you.
I am.
Okay, make sure that you hit your sandbox up before you do it.
I will definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was super helpful. Sorry, can I ask who was talking, just so I thank you personally?
That was Jared that was giving you all of that great advice.
All of that great advice. Okay, Jared, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
It looks like we have a hand raised from Marty. Marty, are you on the line?
Yeah.
Hi, yes, I am. Any community experts trying to hook up Service Cloud to a new community public knowledge, and it is displaying the contact support form for the public. But when I test entering a case, I'm getting an error message. And when I'm looking online on my community builder, it says at the bottom, looks like you don't have the ability to create a new case. Ask your community manager for access. Any thoughts?
Yep.
I think Jared is more of our expert, right, on community. I'm just learning it. So, Jared, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that. So, so usually that comes down to, so let me take a step back. So with each community, you have essentially a guest profile.
Correct.
As a part of that. So that's the first thing I always check to make sure that guest profile has the ability to create cases.
So I went there and through that, because before, you are correct, before they couldn't do that at all. So I went in and updated the guest access to the support API, add new case, and it then allowed them to so the form pops up and they think, I mean, they meaning me testing it, because we're going live in 2 days. It looks like a public person can add the case and they get the nice little message, but then I get an error message from Salesforce that they can't create the case.
Okay. So let me think here. So as long, okay, you have that. The other thing, what is your sharing settings set at? Do you have the external sharing model enabled?
I can't answer that. I'm a consultant helping them with this specific, but I can have someone look at that.
Yeah, that's the other thing you should check too, because if you have, because you also want to have the ability, you'll have that set up there for cases to read and really write that information. And then I have an org that I've got this set up in, so let me look at it real quick and make sure. So yes, profile is just making sure that is all correct. It sounds like that is there. The other thing too is like within your community, you should have those any pages that they're going to navigate to, right, as a part of submitting the record, set to public on the settings for that page, that it's public can access. So first of all, you have the general setting, right, that the public can access the community, but then you can also set it at like at the home page, or sorry, at page level. I'm trying to look at my contact support function here. The other thing to check is, this is the other thing to check. So it gets a little in the weeds. So on your contact us form or your create case form, right, you have actions that you have to designate that are basically used, like publisher actions that are used for the guest user in the sign in.
Right.
The one thing you want to make sure of is on that action that there are no fields that the user does not have access to, especially even from like an update standpoint. So, within an action, right, I can set some fields behind the scenes you got to make sure that that is not happening, because you could run into issues. That could be another issue that you run into, where they can see the fields on the form, and it doesn't work. It looks like someone has their hand raised.
Hi, this is Jnana.
Yeah, go for it.
Hey,
Sounds like you've ran into this too.
Right. So we have done similar setup before. So what we have done is basically we have set up accounts and contract to default external access to be public read-only, and then we made contacts to private, and then we made cases to private as well. And then what we necessarily did is, we have to enable roles, and then grant access using role hierarchies should be checked to true. This is all happening in the sharing settings, basically. And then whenever you create a new user, make sure the owner is assigned to this role. I think that's how we were able to solve the problem.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
Yeah, those are the main things, right? Like again, going back to, if you go to the actual site that the site record under sites that your community is hosted on within setup, making sure that guest access to the support API is checked, and then on the public access settings that they have read write on that that object, as well as, again, it's worth checking out the field level security for that profile as well, to make sure there's no field that are being filled out that they don't have access to.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, who else?
And if you have more questions, I'll be reachable as well. You can tweet me at tweet me as well. I'll leave my Twitter this thing. I'll be more than happy to help you as well. Yeah, sure. Because I remember we have set up the knowledge articles and everything for that, and we ran into some issue where knowledge articles were not visible, the cases were not able to create, and then we redesigned and then ended up having a solution back. It's just that I don't recall right now, but I can provide you the complete solution.
Thanks.
Looks like Chris has got his hand up. Chris, you got a question?
I do, and it's related to communities as well. And I haven't had a chance to look in the Trailblazer community yet, and but I just got out of a meeting that we were talking about it. So working with some product designers internally here, a couple of questions, and they're all about image placement and so forth. The question I have is the login screen for the community. Are we able to offset the login username and password? Because that would define the type of imagery based on where that placement is that they could put background images to.
So you want to, just to make sure I understand, you want to basically change where those fields, like how they display, like right now it's email, then password, and they're right on top of each other.
Oh, not the order, the actual placement of that section. Right now it's like dead smack in the middle. They'd like to offset it to like maybe the upper left corner or the right or the left side, and that would be helpful for them to be able to have more choices for the entire background image.
Yeah, I know there is.
And And just to add, I don't know if it plays into it, but we're using the standard Napili template, but I don't know if the login screen is based off of the template though.
Well, so from a login perspective, you can do a couple things. So under administration of your community, under login and registration, right, that's where you can set the logo to display your coloring, as well as like right side content. So the right frame, if you have like an image that you wanted to display there, you could display that there. And then you can choose your login page. So you can either use the default page, the default look and feel. You can use the community builder page, which you can, obviously tweak parts of, but you can't, offset the login piece there. Or you can use like a custom Visualforce page. The only thing I could think of potentially doing is, I'm thinking, let me just try to create a new page here in my community. Because what I'm thinking you may be able to do is potentially of course. Yeah, let me come back to that, because I think I was trying to see if what I haven't tried to do before is actually create a custom community builder login page. I was thinking the default page potentially could work too if you put like your content in the right side content field. It may be able to, it should, I think, auto offset that and push it to the, well, it'd push the login stuff to the left on the page, and then you'd have your right side content, whatever that may be.
Right.
And then outside of that, the only other real option is you essentially create a custom page. But let me play around with this a little bit more and see if I can do a custom login page here.
Okay.
All right. Marty, you got your hand raised. Did you have another question?
Sorry, no, I'll unraise it.
Oh, no worries. No worries. Just want to make sure. All right. Who else?
Nobody has a question. Oh, Sarah has a question. She's got her hand up.
Yeah, this is a question about admin, sort of where to find things, I guess, or what to expect. I have created a custom console app in Lightning, And I'm just a little bit confused about which objects open up as parent tabs and which open up as sub tabs and how to predict that behavior. I'm pretty new to this, so is there any sort of place that I can find a description of how that works or any advice that you have about using console apps?
We can do a quick search here to see if we've got anything easy to find. Dale, have you been playing around with console apps?
I actually have not. They are pretty slick, but I have actually not had a chance to play with them.
I know exactly what you're talking about, Sarah. Let me see if I can find something that defines the parent versus the child or subtabs.
Yeah, it seems like custom objects will often open up as their parent tab, even if you're accessing them from, say, a contact record, but that standard objects will be subtabs. So I was just wondering if there was a rhyme and reason to it, or
Well, I'm getting all kinds of responses here through my Google search, but it's not anything that is taking me quickly to parent tabs versus child tabs. But that's what I would do if I were you. I'd go ahead and Google it and see if there's some kind of a diagram that shows parent versus sub. Because I know that it can get pretty crazy opening up a bunch of sub tabs and trying to figure out where you where you are and what did you mean to do, you know. So that's what I would do. Google is your friend when it comes to any kind of research.
Yeah.
Salesforce and then whatever, because it indexes everything for you.
Great.
There's an article, Lightning Experience Console Limitations, that will dive us deeper into what it allows. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Give you some weekend reading, right?
Yeah. Salesforce Saturday.
There you go. Good job.
Great. Thanks.
You're welcome. Anyone else have a question? I'll ask a quick one just out of curiosity. Has anybody had any experience with Salesforce IQ and migrating from Salesforce IQ into a different edition org? I guess what I'm specifically looking for with Salesforce IQ is their exportability of the data so that it can then be imported into the new Salesforce org, dedicated org.
I have not dove into Salesforce IQ.
Neither have I. That's why I was asking the question.
Me either.
Someone posed it of me, so I thought I would ask this group to see if anyone had any experience with it. Not a problem. I will keep doing my Google searches and reaching out, but I was just curious about that. Good job, Dale.
GOOGLE.com.
All right. I will continue looking through their help documentation.
Sorry, could I steal a few more minutes of time regarding that flow?
Yeah.
Sure.
Awesome. So I was just going through it. I'm in the sandbox now, and in the very first node on the loop, it says record lookup, right? So what it's asking to do is to go get the product names. It seems it's almost like it's a redundancy of the very first node where we added the quantity, right? Where we're doing the fast lookup. But the record lookup, I mean, it's different. I think it looks up the very specific record, right? And then what it's assigning it to another variable. I believe assign the record. Let's see, assign the record to fields to variables to reference them in your flow. So in this case, I'm getting just the name and the product code. And where do I want to add the quantity to this as well? Should I share my screen again?
I don't think you would need to. No, I mean, you really only need to look up the quantity once, and that's really within your fast lookup on the opportunity products. And once you save it in that as object variable, you should be good.
Okay, so do you think that this node is almost irrelevant, or is it sort of doing the same thing twice?
Tell me what that second one is doing, that node you just talked about.
So the first one is the fast lookup, and this is a record lookup, the first node in that loop. And it is grabbing the name of the product and the product code, and then writing it to individual variables, apparently, also called product name and product code. Where instead in the fast lookup, it was writing it to that one variable, right? It was what was it?
I was writing to the S-object collection variable. I mean, I would say it sounds redundant. I mean, because you should be able to just do that in one fast lookup, not in the second one.
And then, okay. And then the assignment. The assignment in the next node after that loop node is it's taking the variable from each individual job record field, job product record field, and then assigning it the value of the field. I guess that's, I don't know if I'm understanding this correctly, to be honest. Can I show you one more time?
Sure.
Okay, let's see here. How do I do the share screen? Okay, sorry. So this was the record lookup that I was talking about here. This is the fast lookup that where I added the quantity to, and then there's this record lookup here that I'm thinking that I need to add the quantity to as well. Jeez, my computer's like tripping. You guys. Oh. Are you guys seeing that on my screen?
Yeah, we're looking at your inbox.
Oh, that's really good. I don't know what's happening. Sorry about that.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I see what they're doing here, right? This is actually going to the product record that the opportunity product is associated to.
Right.
Exactly.
Which
again, you should be able to just get that information directly on the product, because this product record is not going to have a quantity, right? This is the actual product record in the price book. It's the opportunity product that's going to have the quantity. So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could certainly simplify your flow by removing this component and recording the name in the code over in your fast lookup in that very first element there.
Yeah.
You should be able to add a row at the bottom and do, like, you already have product code there. You should be able to add and choose the name for the product. But you could simplify and do that, and you would just have to update wherever those fields are being filled in with that value from the S-object variable. But yeah, you don't need to, you wouldn't add quantity there because it's just the product.
Yeah. My computer's freaking out here. Sorry. I don't know if you guys can see that or not.
No, it's good.
Is my screen okay? It's like,
yeah, we're still seeing your flow. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can't even see my screen right now. It actually just went blank. I don't know what's happening. Okay, I think I understand what you're saying there. That makes a lot of sense. I think I'm going to do that. So I appreciate your help again.
Yeah, no problem.
So basically, I mean, just to clarify again, your recommendation is to get rid of that component, that first component that's looking up the record itself. Here.
Yeah, that one there seems redundant to me personally. I don't see the need for it. I think you could consolidate into your first one, and then just update your assignments.
The fast look up here, and then the assignment here, and then the assignment in the note itself for the update of the fields, the collection of the fields.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. You guys have a good one.
Awesome. And I think we are right at just about at time here. We got about 5 minutes left. Any other?
Hi, this is Ganesh. One question. I'm actually new to this MVP programs. Just wondering if anyone have experience on Heroku, as we were trying to explore that space, as our org is pumping up on the volume like crazy, just to keep up with all the integrations and everything. I was trying to explore Heroku. So anything and everything related to Heroku will be of great help. Like any best practices or any precautionary things before we start off.
That is a good question. Do we have any Roku people? Yeah, I think that would be, unfortunately, I don't know that we have any specific Heroku folks on the line. That's where Heroku, I would definitely recommend the developer forums as well as like the Stack Exchange. Those two would be good places to go for Heroku help.
Sure. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And let's see, who was it that, I think it was Chris, right? Chris, you had the question on the login?
Yes.
Okay, I think I may have an answer for you.
Nice.
So it takes a little trickery, but I figured it out. So, and you probably have to mess with it because it looks like some of the fields are, the branding on it aren't awesome. But, and I'll post this in the chat here.
Okay.
For everyone to see. So basically what you have to do is to customize the login form within Communities. You got to go to the developer console, and there is a component out there. So if you go to the developer console and open up the Lightning resource, and that article kind of gives you a walkthrough of it. But basically you go open Lightning resource, and then you open the component for the login form, and then all you have to do is there's some text at the top there. Let me open it. That basically tells you to add just one specific variable within the component line. Let me actually see if I can just share this in my console. So you should be able to see my console here.
Yeah.
So you see this. So you go in File, Open Lightning Resource, and there's this login form resource here. So here you can open up that component. I've already got it open. And all you essentially do is come and take this implement for all page types for Force.com community and come down here to the component line, and you're going to paste that in, and then you can save that. Now, what I ended up doing is I just created my own. I just did a file new Lightning component and just copied everything from this over and did that. But in essence, it accomplishes the same thing. So if I change my sharing to Google Chrome, so let me probably sharing more than I should, but that's fine. Just real quick. So basically what I did, Chris, is I created a new custom page.
Right.
And then once you save that component, then if you go to your components, you'll have a custom component down here called custom login form.
Right.
And then you can drag that here. So in my case, I just created like a 2-column page. So I put the custom login form here,
Right.
and then I can, do whatever content I want there. And then all you have to do once you get that form is under administration, login, registration.
Yep.
You come in here to your login, right? And then you search for, publish pages only. So it's only going to find, so you got to publish that page once you're done. So
Right.
once you publish it, then you can come in here, select that page as your login page, and voila, Safe Harbor should work.
Right. Okay. Well, it looks feasible. I mean, so it's something to explore. Okay.
Yeah, let me know. Hopefully, I think that should work. That's the first time I've tried to do that. I usually just kind of taking it, but I like that. So.
Yeah, it moves it out of the way a little bit. Then you can use, I guess, from a design perspective, more of a better image, the splash in the back versus being it buried behind that login.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Well, yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, we're 2 over here, so I'll go ahead and wrap up. Dale had to run, so we're going to go slideless here through the end, but we just want to thank you guys for joining. Great questions. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of it today. As always, we'd love your feedback. You can hit us up on Twitter, on the Trailblazer community. But appreciate you guys joining. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you on the next office hours.